Thank you, Supervisor Cox, and you can always count on the Marines to get it done right. With an understanding of the gravity of the situation the state of California faces, Governor Gavin Newsom issued an executive order last night directing all Californians in non-essential roles and services to remain at home. This order was given in order to protect public health, and it is rooted in the basic belief that every life has value, and as a state, the circumstances and situations we face require us to do more than we had been doing. I spoke to the governor today and conveyed that in San Diego County, we support his effort, and we will ensure that in our jurisdiction it is fully implemented and carried out. The governor's order directs all Californians to stay home except as needed for making continuity of operations of the federal critical infrastructure sectors. They provided a link and a list to those 16 sectors that are defined as essential businesses, which include sectors of chemical, commercial, communications, critical manufacturing, dams, defense, emergency services, energy, financial services, food and agricultural, government facilities, health and public health, information technology, nuclear reactors, transportation, and water. A full link to the governor's executive order and the link to these listings of these 16 sectors are available at covid19.ca.gov. The governor's executive order is an order. It is not a suggestion. It is not an encouragement. It is a legally enforceable requirement in all 58 counties in California, which of course includes us. If your business is not allowed to operate under this order, meaning you are not in one of those 16 identified sectors, then you are not allowed to operate anywhere in the state of California, including in San Diego County. If you are allowed to operate as a business in the state of California under the governor's executive order, meaning you are in one of those categories, if you are allowed to operate in the state of California, you are still subject to the San Diego requirements and public health orders that we have given. To be clear, our orders are 10 or fewer, which constitutes a mass gathering. So if you are a business that is covered by the governor's executive order and you are in San Diego County, you still cannot have more than 10 visitors or guests in your facility or location. Our order does not count the number of employees. Employees are not counted in the 10. So if you are a biotech essential business because you fit into the category of health and public health or critical manufacturing, and you have 50 employees, your 50 employees can go to work. They do have to maintain the social distancing requirements, but you could not have a meeting of visitors to your facility of 10 or more. In San Diego County, there are a few entities that are not subject to the requirement of 10. They are outlined in our orders, and common sense leads us to understand why. If you are a hospital in San Diego County, by your nature, you will have more than 10 people there. If you are a homeless shelter, by your nature, you will have more than 10 people there. If you are a grocery store, you may have more than 10 people at any one time. But those entities are expected to adhere as best they can to the social distancing requirements. We understand that in a state as large as California, in a county as dynamic as San Diego's, there will be a lot of questions about the statewide order. There will be a lot of what about this or what about that. The governor indicated yesterday that he will continue to provide additional guidance. They will continue to provide additional information, and they may expand or potentially contract the list of essential services as they deem fit. We are not in a position as the County of San Diego to speculate on who is or is not covered by the governor's order. The governor's order speaks for itself. Their listings they provide speak for themselves, and questions about those are best directed to the state of California. But what is clear is the County of San Diego and the state of California want you to stay home. If you are in an essential service or essential business, we want you to adhere to social distancing practices and requirements. There are a number of things that are clear that you can do. Go to the gas station, go to the pharmacy, go to the grocery store, go to the bank. You can go outside and go for a walk. You can take your family unit who you live with in your home together and go to a field or an open park or play. You can use all the technology we have to stay connected to your loved ones and friends who are around you. It is also clear that essential businesses have to remain open because the water has to come out of our faucets. The power has to remain on in our homes. People have to eat. Our healthcare facilities have to remain open. Our transit system has to operate. Our nation's critical infrastructure has to be maintained. Our biotech industries have to continue to work on test and treatment. Our first responders have to keep you safe. Additionally, essential state and local government functions will remain open, including law enforcement and offices that provide services. It is also really clear the things that you cannot do under this order. Dine-in restaurants, bars and nightclubs, entertainment venues, gyms and fitness studios, public events and conventions. And we are asking the public to join with us in this effort. Each and every one of us is on the front lines of having the ability to stand together and fight the spread of this. Since we made our first pronouncements about this in January, we have seen a series of escalating steps that have moved in direct proportion to the escalating nature and challenges that we face. We have been proactive, we have been aggressive in our efforts to try and slow the spread. As we get increasing testing that comes online, we will see the cases that have been rising will continue to rise at a greater rate. That does not mean that the social distancing requirements are not working. The reality is, absent the social distancing requirements, absent the steps that we've been taking, the rise and spread would have been much greater and will be much greater moving forward. Bottom line, we want you to stay home unless you're an essential worker and an essential job. For those folks who have to go out, we want you to adhere to social distancing, proper hygiene, and hand washing. If you feel sick, isolate yourself at home. If you are so sick you would normally go to the hospital or the doctor, then call them, get advice and guidance on where you should go and show. And then most importantly, let us all remember that we all have the equal opportunity to tackle this challenge and this crisis in front of us. We know that it has great difficulty. We know it will have a great economic impact. We will move to ensure that no San Diegan goes hungry or loses their home, but we will do all of those things in accordance with making sure we're doing everything we can to protect the life and health and safety of San Diego residents. Thank you. Next, we'll hear from Dr. Wilma Wooten.